This is Carl Moore talking management for the Globe and Mail. Today I am delighted to speak to Ed Schein, who's a senior professor at MIT and has written about change for many, many years now. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning.
One of the things you're very best known for is your understanding and writing research in corporate culture. What have you come to about corporate culture these days? What are you thinking about it?
What are my thoughts about corporate culture? I'm just finished revising one of my two books on that subject, and I'm in the middle of revising the other. And the biggest learning I've had that's forcing me to change the focus is that occupations have cultures, nations have cultures, ethnic groups have cultures, and with globalization, it's not just going to be about organizational culture. For example, in many organizations, the dilemma between engineering and finance and marketing is much greater than the problem of their overall corporate culture. In medicine, for example, the conflict between the nursing culture and the doctor culture and the administrator culture is much more of an issue than what is the corporate culture of the whole hospital system. So in rewriting, I'm pushing toward these subculture issues as being the real problem. And then when you take that into the international scene, you then not only have occupational subcultures, but you have the national cultures. You have the doctor from India and the nurse from some other country in a hospital run in the US, and all of this has to somehow come together. So I've begun to think about this notion of cultural islands. Where can you actually get multicultural units into a talking relationship with each other so that they can begin to explore their common ground? It's not going to happen in the daily work scene. I think we have to create cultural islands to allow that kind of communication to occur.
So for a general manager, they need to become bicultural, tricultural, and really understand the world of the marketing people, the finance people.
They don't have to actually understand those cultures. What they have to be able to do is to create settings where those cultures will understand each other enough to get aligned. You're never going to integrate all these cultures, but you've got to get them aligned and working toward the same purpose. So I think the good general manager understands this and creates forums like taking everybody to Japan to allow the communication to occur.
How often should an organization change its culture?
It shouldn't change its culture at all. It should work its business problem.
And that would lead to
the
appropriate corporate change.
Well, usually the culture is what the corporation has learned that has made it successful.
Okay.
So the culture is mostly your strength. So you only want to change it when you've got a business problem and the culture is what's in the way. Most of the time, like even with Con Edison, they're calling all this culture change, but most of the culture of Con Edison is intact, as evidenced by their ability, for example, to train 10,000 people in a very few months on what's a hazard. That sort of training-oriented, top-down, that's the essence of their culture, and without that they would be a much worse organization. So the idea of just culture change for its own sake is nonsense.